Hello, welcome back to the library. Budget titles were the bread and butter of the PlayStation's late life cycle, and no one was more responsible for that than Agetec. They were releasing a host of $10 bargain titles throughout the twilight years of the big gray box, some originating from Japan. Today's review is no different. Starting life in Japan as the simple 1500 volume 95, The Airplane, Aces of the Air made its American debut in May of 2002 to very little fanfare. It featured a single-player campaign spanning 10 missions with a variety of planes to unlock as you went. So let's, if you'll pardon the pun, dive into the game. The game starts you off with the K9, a simple biplane that guides you throughout the tutorial level. Once you surpass that, you're awarded the Drop Hunter alongside the real missions. Missions are unironically simple, each consisting of one main goal with the rest being bonus points on your overall score. In campaign mode, these points don't matter, but we'll get to that later. Your plane is equipped with guns, a few missiles, and bombs to be used for specific mission runs. It's here that Aces of the Air begins to show some turbulence in its flight path. First, the most egregious of the three weapons are the missiles. Despite having a lock-on function, they never really connected with their intended targets. After 3 playthroughs, I can say I have 0 missile kills, or skills. This isn't as bad as it sounds though, since the guns are more than enough to down enemies. The second and least of the worries is the gun's animation. It might be due to the viewing angle of your plane concerning the game's camera, but the bullets appear to go upward rather than into the distance. In fairness, this doesn't affect the game once you realize the visual hiccup, especially since it shines from the physics angle of it. One thing dogfighting games need to properly nail is the angled shot. That is, being able to lead your shots in front of an enemy so that they fly into the bullet stream. Aces does this wonderfully, even in the face of the visual oddity. Taking down enemies is fairly painless, so long as they stay with you. The bomb runs are simple to execute. You hold the triangle button to swap to an overhead view, wait for the prey to come into the target range, and drop the payload. With these 3 attack vectors, the game leaves the rest to you. As mentioned, the missions are simple. At most, you may have to face 8 or 9 total enemies, but not all of them. Several stages can even be accomplished by ignoring everybody and everything but the main target. Here's where Aces of the Air loses the plot though, even though there wasn't one to begin with. When publishing a budget title that started as a budget title, no one is going to spend extra money on quality assurance during the Americanization process. Did I just say Americanization? I meant localization. That's funny. This cost-cutting measure lets 2 fairly hilarious yet frustrating oversights slip through the cracks. The funnier of the 2 offerings is the poor computer-controlled plane in Mission 7. Like the infamous NBA Elite T-pose glitch, this vehicle gets stuck in its version of the T-pose, hovering in the air till it's killed off or the player ignores it and finishes the level. It still tries to attack, God bless it, firing straight up into space, and once killed swaps horizontally into its death animation. Regretfully, this little side chuckle can't make up for the other issue. Some of the enemy planes are just really stupid. These particular species just fly in circles, never attacking you, never dodging or weaving, just looping in place. Sometimes they'll gain or lose altitude, but there's no shifting their course. Worse yet, they can coast outside the playfield, and if they do, you can't chase after them. If one should wander out of bounds, you'll need to zip over to the center of the playfield so they'll eventually follow you back in. I've had moments where these particular fighters never fire a shot, but just collided with me if I didn't realize I was within their predetermined circle track. It was really weird. Even dumber, this isn't a deal breaker for me. Is it annoying? Yes, but for some reason, I couldn't get mad about it. On the positive side, the final battle takes place against a massive airship with several support troops. It's probably the hardest fight in the game due to the blimp's side guns having some seriously perfect aim. Once it and its cohorts are taken down, there's a simple thank you screen and it's back to the title menu. In a nice turn of events, finishing the game actually unlocks the final plane, the enemy hero pilot if you will, as well as the free mission and ranking. Remember those points I mentioned back in the beginning? Once a free mission is completed, the value of your points determines your rank spot as well as what medal you're awarded. This adds a nice bit of replay value as well as different ways of approaching the missions. In campaign, ignoring everyone for the main goal helps you complete it faster, but here in free mission, you need to add some kills to rack up a better score and earn a better medal. As a whole product, Aces of the Air comes across as a success story regarding bang for the buck. Dissecting it into its separate components, however, reveals an issue with almost every segment. Despite all of these flaws, I found myself still enjoying it, especially the ranking stats. The only sin I can't forgive is the out-of-bounds issues. It ruins the pace of a run and can add minutes to the timer as you try and coax them back into the playfield. It takes a lot for me to truly hate a game, and in looking over my review criteria, Aces scores higher on my scale than it would most others. It's not broken, and with it still retaining its original budget price or less in the modern day, it's worth a point of entry. On the PlayStation Library review scale, it's an average 5 out of 10. Sure, it's got flaws, but you can wing the rest of it. Take care, you guys. I'll see you next episode.